Hello, kids. It's very hot here, isn't it? Welcome to the palace of Shushan in the province of Elam. This is the Ulai River. A few days ago, I had a vision here, very similar to the dream of the four beasts. No, this one didn't have any of those horrible animals, just the two used in the temple sacrifices at Jerusalem. One was a ram, and the other a goat. In this vision, I looked up and saw a ram standing by the river. No other animal could fight against it. It was very strong and was pushing towards the north, the south, the west, exactly where the cities of Babylon, Lydia, and Egypt are located. As you know, rams have two horns. Do you remember what a horn means? Very good. A horn in the visions that God gave me means a kingdom. In other words, because this ram has two horns, it represents an empire made up of two kingdoms. Yes, you guessed it. It's the empire of the Medes and the Persians. But on this ram, one horn was bigger than the other, which means that one of the two kingdoms was stronger than the other, just as the bear had one side stronger than the other. And that's true. The Persians are stronger than the Medes. However, the Persians don't consider themselves better than the Medes but reign equally. I was still thinking about the ram when suddenly, out of the west, a goat came running so fast it seemed like it was flying. You should have seen it. Its legs didn't even touch the ground. But this goat was not like other goats. It had only one big horn that stuck straight out of its forehead. The goat came and thrust its great big horn into the ram and killed it. Then that goat became very powerful and was filled with pride because at that moment there was no one stronger than he in all the earth. But suddenly, his horn broke off and four horns came out of his head pointing towards the four corners of the earth. What an incredible vision! Everything matches perfectly with the other vision God gave me 2 years before. By the way, do you know what the Greeks called themselves? The people of the goats. And when they go out to war, they always use the symbol of the goats on their banners. That's why in the vision they are represented by a goat. And that main horn refers to the first king who was named Alexander the Great. The other horns that came later represent the four generals who will divide the kingdom into four parts after Alexander is gone. What are their names again? That's it. Cassander, Lysimachus, Seleucus, and Ptolemy. Yes, I know what you are thinking, and you're exactly right. Even though these animals are different from my previous vision, they represent the same empires. But wait. The vision doesn't end there. Suddenly, another horn appeared on the scene that didn't grow out of the animal, but came up far to the south and eastward towards the glorious land. Yes, towards Jerusalem. That horn was filled with much power and dominated many nations, including my people Israel. This horn is somewhat different than the little horn of the last vision. God showed me in the vision that the little horn represents the enemy of God, who fights against him and his faithful children. It represents Lucifer, who rose up against God in heaven and deceived a third part of the angels there. But it also represents the Roman Empire that will come up after the Greeks and will rise against the Prince of Israel, the Son of God, and will even crucify him. Finally, this horn represents the religious power I was telling you about the other day, that will rise up after the Roman Empire and defy God and try to destroy his children who are like stars shining in the darkness. The angel Gabriel explained everything to me about the ram and the goat, but there was something I just couldn't understand. And that's the thing I heard later. One of the elders in my vision asked how long the whole vision was going to last, and another elder said it would last 2,300 days, which really means 2,300 years. He said that after the time was finished, the sanctuary would be cleansed from all sins of the people. Now I must tell you, the cleansing of the sanctuary usually occurs every year on the Day of Atonement. It's one of the 7 Jewish feasts. Throughout the year, when a person confesses his sins before God, they are symbolically passed from the person to the head of the sacrificial lamb, and then collect in the sanctuary. But on the Day of Atonement, they are cleaned out of the sanctuary and sent into the wilderness. The sanctuary is clean, and the people are completely forgiven. On that day, we all fast and humble ourselves before God while the high priest intercedes for us inside the sanctuary. When the high priest finally comes out, we are all so happy because it means that everyone has been forgiven. So, when I heard that the cleansing of the sanctuary would happen after 2,300 years, well, I was sick. I could not understand that part of the vision at all. Why does it take God 2,300 years to cleanse his sanctuary? Could it be that the time in Babylon is going to extend and the 70 years are going to turn into 2,300 years? Oh no, children. I've been so upset these last few days that I haven't been able to sleep for thinking about it. I'm praying to God to explain that part to me and what it means for God's people in the temple. But now I remember that the angel Gabriel told me that part of the vision is for the time of the end. Yes, that means it refers to the time in which you children live. If that's true, and you are living in the time of the Day of Atonement, you know, the prophetic Day of Atonement is the day of judgment for God's people. That's a serious time, and therefore I advise you to trust your heavenly advocate and prepare yourselves, because the end of all things is near. Please, children, give your heart to God, pray every day, and don't waste time on useless things. I'll see you soon, children.